Yo, man, I just cannot get it together, guys. It's the revenge of Mean Nerdo, not the return, the revenge of the Mean Nerdo show. Yeah, the cartoon that we got together to talk about was Tom and Jerry Sleepy Time Tom. It originally aired May 26, 1951. I have my longtime friend Adrienne Cota as my guest. We met sometime in, I don't know, somewhere between high school and college. And she's been a person that just, I don't know, fell from the heavens or something. She's just this godly angel. And she's such a warm hearted person. You know, I feel such a glow anytime I'm in her presence, and she makes you feel like everything is right and everything's gonna be all right. She's just that person, and I truly appreciate her friendship. And so, but in college, I built up the courage to ask her to act in my student film that I was working on. And that experience, I believe, locked us into this unforgettable bond. But, you know, it's one of those friends that's like worked on something together or created something together and are part of that. She's a full-time artist, you know, in every right, a real Renaissance woman. And I so love that about her. She's a great person to have on your team. And I appreciate that we had this chance to talk about this episode of Tom and Jerry. It's been a journey, guys. And Mean Nerdo is still alive and kicking. And I'm looking forward to kicking out more episodes on a more frequent basis. And yeah, man, hopefully this is just a new beginning here to unleash the Mean Nerdo. Love you all. Good morning.
Good morning.
You're worried that we're gonna do like I was gonna record video and all that? Yeah?
I'm not worried, but I was like I said, just worked out, and
Yeah.
so I was like sweaty, red faced. I'm like, oh, he's gonna see me.
Yeah,
Okay, I
yeah,
should
yeah.
go wash my face at least.
I know. I know. If it makes you feel better, I haven't even taken a shower yet, so
Oh,
but
yay. Okay, sounds good. I just washed my face. I didn't shower
yeah.
yet either.
Yeah. I'm so happy to have you on Mean Nerdo, which is what I call it, right? And do you hear stuff? Yeah, I'm sure you hear all this stuff going on behind me. Moy,
I hear Moy.
come say hi
Hi,
to
Moy.
come say hi, Papa, real quick.
I'm a dinosaur.
She's
Yes, I
she's
am.
a dinosaur, she says. You want to come see her? Look at what she looks like.
That ain't no dinosaur. That ain't.
Do you see him? Oh, there he is.
Hi. I'm a friendly dinosaur. How
She
are you, Moy?
is. Say good morning. Oh, he's gonna show you his dinosaur.
Wow. What's the name of that dinosaur?
The Dilophosaurus.
Dilophosaurus. I don't think I've ever seen it before. Did he come out in Jurassic Park?
Yeah, he did, right? So
I love it.
so in our show, we're gonna talk about a cartoon that everyone knows about, everyone knows and loves. Even Moises
Woo-woo.
has seen it, yeah. And
Yes.
you know what? Actually, this episode, I've done is not watched the cartoon beforehand,
Okay.
so it's gonna be a little bit of a surprise for me too to kind of engage with it. Yep, it's Tom and
Yes, it is,
Jerry.
Moy.
We're doing Tom and Jerry. All right, well, you'll come watch it with me right now, right? He's playing his app games right now, so.
Good.
App games. Don't mention her about my app game.
Why not?
She says, why not? She wants to know.
Teach me about your app games.
Oh, he'll go off. Yeah, he could do a whole podcast on just his. I love
That would
it.
be
I love his
cool.
imagination. His imagination is just so potent, you know, right now, and it reminds me a lot of when I was a kid. Like I used to just spend hours playing with my toys by myself, and
Yeah.
but it's different for him because now it has to be me and him.
Right.
And he wants me doing the voices. He wants me, you know, being some of the characters, and I'm like, okay, this is like reliving my childhood all over again. So it's pretty cool.
I love that. It's
Yeah.
great. I had my sister growing up. So I know you mentioned in the last time we met up, because your siblings are much older than you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you sort of had that gap and it was just you,
Right.
basically. being in a way an only child.
Exactly.
Because you didn't have someone like in your contemporary to play with or whatever. And I had my sister. My sister's only 2 years older than I. And my goodness, her friendship, like immediately, our dynamic was awesome because we really fed off of each other. She's totally opposite than I am. Our imagination and sort of, we did a lot of like skits and plays
Oh,
and
that's so cool.
talent shows and Barbies and watching movies and things, music, but our mother too is very creative. So she made a lot, our childhood a lot of fun.
Yeah, and you know what? I dig that about your family, that all of you guys are just super creative or into the arts, and
Yeah,
and
we grew up with
I
that.
super love that. That painting behind you, is that one you did recently, or?
No, that's actually my father's.
Right. Yeah. See, your father paints. That's beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's great.
I'm
It's
actually working on a painting right now. I'll show you.
yes, I'd
I'll
love to.
show you the process. I started it when I moved here, so it was in November that
Yeah.
I.
Oh, okay. Blue. I see some blue and a tree. Is that a tree?
Oh, it's a whale's tail.
Oh, okay. It's a whale's tail.
The whale, the tail of the whale.
Beautiful, right?
Ay, qué lindo.
And I have a raptor too.
That's a raptor. Okay. Do you have all the? What about a brontosaurus?
Well, I don't really have a large one.
Okay.
He's a little mini scale one, right? I think.
Yeah, only the little ones.
Yeah.
Just a
I
tiny
don't have
one.
the huge one because
Why?
it's too expensive.
Moi, which is the dinosaur with like the big head?
Is it a triceratops type?
Is it Triceratops?
I think so. The one with horns on it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they kind of look like a rhino. It's so funny how we go through life saying, okay, be more childlike. But as children, I mean, I guess they do relish within the moment, because they are like focused on like the play and the joy of life within that moment because they don't have any other stressors to think about, right? I don't know. I'm just saying, like,
Right.
as a kid, we're so free. As a kid, my mom would describe me as capricious. Others would say I was very creative. I had to be painting, coloring, dancing, extremely friendly. Since I was 2 years old, my parents would say they would take me to a restaurant.
Yeah.
And I would be like in the high chair and just like turning around and like looking at everybody and like waving. And
Yeah.
I would escape the high chair all the time.
Nice.
And I would just run up to other people's like tables and just like being like, hi, hola, which is something that, I think carried through me like throughout my youth. Since I turned 40, I started disassociating myself with a lot of things and really going inside. So it's like almost as if my personality shift. Yeah, okay, I was super social, life of the party, and had a lot of friends, countless of friends, and very caring, very empathic. I think that's always stayed with me since I was a kid. But that like uneasiness to do something, to be somewhere, to went away.
Yeah, it's like I think it's phases maybe, or not phases, but or just growth. It's just growth, and it's I feel like I've gone through a lot of those sort of growth or chapters, whatever you want to call them in life. Yeah, I remember being much more like sensitive too, like when I was younger, like in my 20s, I was a lot more just sensitive to so many things, and I sort of lost some of that sensitivity to myself, and whether it be for good or bad, but now I see things kind of like on another, it's like I grew a fourth eye or something, and so I kind of have like another option to look at,
I like
right?
that.
So
Fourth eye.
yeah, I've been enjoying looking at cartoons because it does kind of takes you back to maybe some of the roots of your being, really. It makes you kind of remember that child in you.
Yeah, cartoons definitely shape a part of us. I love this approach, getting people to talk about themselves through something that we were all influenced by, a cartoon. I have a totally different perspective now. Cartoons, as watching them as an adult and then looking back and be like, whoa, there was a lot of adult content in these cartoons.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah,
you
because
think that
now we're seeing it through that fourth eye, as I say. Like, you know, we have that sort of other awakened part in
Right.
us that that we never caught when we were kids, and so
Right. Like, that's
yeah,
the thing. Like, was it sort of a subliminal message that we sort of understood that this was going to be, I don't know. And then why would our parents allow us to watch a
I
thing
know,
like that?
I know. Yeah, I think it was
Did
way
they
off.
know?
Did they? I don't think parents even knew, right? Like what was going on with the cartoon. And well, why don't we watch like the first
Let's do
part?
it.
Let's watch
Let's
the
do it.
first part, and then so the one we picked is from the 50s. It says this cartoon is short. It's like 7 minutes. You can hear it too, obviously, right?
Yes, I can.
Okay, cool. Fred.
Good night, ladies. Good night, ladies. Good night, ladies. We hate to say goodbye.
That was his job, right?
Hold on,
Was to try to catch Jerry.
let's pause right there. We're gonna pause right there. So that's like the halfway point. You know, just looking at that clip makes me think of like how I had to switch up my partying, right? Because obviously Tom is coming from like partying with his buddies and stuff.
Right.
You know, when they come around that corner, and
You're like, I've been there.
so I'm like,
I've been on that
there.
corner.
I've been around that corner, coming home like that. And no, but it's so different now. I mean, I need to have my energy the next day to keep up with this little guy here. I had to learn kind of the hard way. Oh yeah, don't do that anymore, or don't overextend yourself that way. So
Yeah,
but
that's true. I try not to overextend myself nowadays. My thing is like, okay, analytically, I want to view it as if I was that 5-year-old kid again,
yeah,
watching it, right? So what was going on in my mind as a kid, and I'm looking at that. So we're Hispanic, right? We're Mexican.
yeah, oh yeah,
Oh yeah. Woo! So we're 100% Mexican, and we grew up in that culture where, I don't know about you, but my family, my aunts and uncles on both sides of the family, parents who are immigrants, naturalized citizens. I'm first generation, and my dad's from Tijuana, my mom's from Mexicali, and that is acceptable, right? Like I grew up seeing my uncles like drinking on the street corner with their football buddies. They call it La Esquina. They still meet every year as
yeah,
the reunion in the same corner, like of my grandparents' house in Mexicali. And beers were involved, drinking was involved. It's
yeah,
a part of our culture. Looking as a kid, looking at this, I just thought it was the norm, totally the
yeah.
norm of someone coming home, intoxicated with their buddies.
Yeah. I know. Yeah.
and sleeping the next day all day to cure the hangover. I would see that with my uncles, not so much my mom or my dad. Like my mom doesn't drink at all. We didn't grow up with alcohol in our household
Right.
at all. It was more of like a celebratory thing to indulge in, but we got together with our uncles every weekend. There was always something to celebrate. Always
Siempre había
something.
fiesta. Uh-huh.
Always.
Always, yes.
There was always a get together. So that was
Absolutely.
like the norm.
Absolutely. And I think that's, I mean, it is kind of like a social norm, just even beyond our culture. I think it's just alcohol, unfortunately, is like always part of social gatherings, and that's the tough part, right? It's and especially when you have now your family members. I got introduced to it because of my brother, who he loved social events and hanging out with his buddies, and so he included me in on that like very early on, and so
I
yeah,
went to your brother's wedding.
you were there, right?
I
Yeah,
was there.
you were there. I do remember that. I do. Man, because there was just so many people at that wedding. It was like, man, did we get a
That,
chance to dance at all? Like,
yeah.
we
Oh,
danced,
yeah.
right? Yeah. See, my memory is so funky, dude. Like
Mine is too. That's
yeah,
why we have photographs. They
that's
jog
right.
our memories.
That's right.
I see it differently now. And the cool thing is that my immediate family, my parents, my brother and sister, and I evolved together, which is a beautiful thing.
That's great.
Yeah, because that's not a part of our life anymore. You know, drinking, that it's just not a part of it anymore. We evolved and we grew, just very much like what we were talking about earlier. And we live in different times now. You know, health is the forefront in our family, and so drinking like that is just not conducive anymore to being creative, to being able to be present, to be there for Moises,
Exactly.
to be there for the things that I'm trying to manifest and create in my life. And then just sort of setting that like precedence within the household that drinking is supposed to be something that you need to do responsibly. But then again, you know, we're young and we're stupid. And well, I was young and stupid, not
well,
that anybody
yeah,
else was
same
young
here.
and stupid. And just drinking at a very young age.
It's crazy because yeah, it's so destructive, and you don't realize how destructive it is until you get to. I mean, I guess you have to go through it to understand it. Bless their hearts, right? All those people that
Right.
have never touched it and have
I know.
never needed to go there.
I know.
And I wish that would have been the case with me, but
My sister's that example, actually.
oh, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah, she didn't like it. I remember when we were in Mexicali, that's like basically the introduction of alcohol for us. I was 15, so she was 17, and we went out with our friends out there, and we were drinking tequila and caguamas, so beer and tequila,
Yeah.
and she got sick.
Uh-huh.
And I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it always is, right? I mean, like,
I thought it was
yeah.
hilarious. She was throwing up.
I
And
mean,
we're-
that's the lethal combo right now, or
Right?
that is tequila and beer. So
And then she vowed at 17 that she was never going to drink again, that she was like, this is horrible. Like, why would
Yeah.
anyone do this?
Yeah.
And she just is so pragmatic and just so
she has that
in her way.
willpower. Yeah.
Yeah. And she's so disciplined that she's just like, and she's also very like healthy and very enlightened that way. And she's just like, why would anyone? No, I'm not doing this. No judgment. Go ahead if you want
Yeah.
to continue doing that, but not for me. And she didn't to this day.
Wow.
And she
Incredible.
looks younger than I do. She has an incredible physicality. Her mental state, forget about it. She's just never done drugs or alcohol. I swear to God, she's just that type of person.
Wow. That's
And-
beautiful. Yeah. I mean, and the thing is that, any one of us could take that stance at any time, and it's never too late, right? To just say like,
agree.
I'm just going to like stop this. And yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of more in the forefront now in my life, and kind of I'm just more conscious about it now. And, I'll be honest, I have been doing sort of more, affirmations, right? About telling myself, you can do this. You can, you don't have to go that route. There's other ways of dealing with your stressors, or you know what I mean? I don't know what it is that makes me want to have one. Many things, I think. So I think, yeah, it's just kind of like how we talk to ourselves too, about, that little voice that pops in our mind about, oh, la tentación, ¿no? O sea, es como que
The temptation.
the temptation is a tough one.
Yeah, I mean, so this episode of Tom, coming home from partying, right? And then not having to do his job, right? His
Which
job
is
is to catch Jerry.
Yeah.
And the antics that they do between them are hilarious. I think what I liked most about Tom and Jerry, and I think this was a subliminal part of it, is the music. My goodness. I mean,
Oh my God. Yeah.
I love music. It is my second passion. And if I could go see live music all the time, I would, of all genres. And so Scott Bradley, who is the composer of this episode of this music,
look at you. Yes.
Right? It's
Yeah.
like, I mean, I know what's up.
Yeah.
It's like
doing the research. Yes. I love that.
Well, it's jazzy because I didn't know what I was listening to as a kid, but now as an adult, oh my God, like,
It's what drives.
Great composition.
It's what's driving the slapstick in the episode and yeah, like the chase scenes. Like it's all in sync almost with all the notes in the music. So
right. So I wasn't necessarily paying attention that Tom came home drunk with friends. I now see that as an adult.
Right.
I think as a kid, if I could put myself back in those shoes, I was listening to the music. I was looking at how silly Tom is trying to catch like Jerry and being tired or being silly. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think I ignored the fact that he was being scolded and that the reason why he was sleepy. I don't think I understood that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's
We'll
so
see.
true. So true. I think those little elements kind of slip our minds. Yeah, because I remember watching Tom and Jerry, and it was just all about kind of like the slapstick silliness of like the simplicity of it, right? Of just him trying to catch Jerry and seeing how Jerry could outwit him, you know?
Exactly.
And
exactly.
why
Right.
don't we watch the last part of it?
Let's do it.
And
Yeah,
then,
I'd love to.
Here we go.
That's the best part. I think what I liked about this is the practical jokes,
Yeah.
right? Like these. I don't know if I'm saying this correctly. I don't know if this is a true memory or not, which is weird. I do have a vivid memory of my sister and I playing Inspector Gadget.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like imaginary Inspector Gadget type of thing.
Like where you were acting out like a scene from the cartoon.
Penny, yeah.
Yeah.
Like TT would be Penny and I'd be, you know, it would just depend. The roles would switch. But I want to say that we also played Tom and Jerry.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That would have been awesome. Oh my
I'll have
God.
to ask her.
Oh my God. That would have been awesome to see.
The
Yeah, I
practical
think I
jokes.
kind of remember doing that too. But yeah, all the slapstick, right? All the him guzzling the coffee, thinking that's gonna, and him trying all these different methods to stay awake or now fool, you know, anyone that he's awake. And,
Totally.
So yeah, you gotta love that about Tom. But dang, yeah, going back again to the music though, like I listening to it now that you bring it up, I was like just imagining the people in the room too, like playing their instruments, and I gotta imagine they're probably doing this like after the cartoon was done and they're watching something on the screen and they're what they call Foley, right? So they're doing Foley sound to
Foley?
Yeah, it's called Foley, yeah, where you create the sounds afterwards to kind of match what you're seeing on screen. And
Very
so,
nice.
yeah. And, yeah, but very cool. Very cool.
It's a cool technique.
Mm-hmm.
I right now been recently in a kick of watching old movies,
Oh, yeah.
like from the 1940s, 1950s, 60s, like with Marilyn Monroe and
Oh, rad.
Ava Gardner and, you know, Cary Grant and all of those. And composition was a huge part of putting that production together. There was always some sort of song and dance in the middle of this really adult movie.
Yeah.
It's just fascinating.
Yeah, it's almost, it becomes its own character too in the
Oh yeah,
in the
totally. I
picture.
agree with you.
I'm glad to see you're awake. Keep up the good work.
Well, look, it's Tom. Come on, boy, we got a big night tonight.
I'm just shaking my head. Like, I'm like creating this story behind the 3 friends that showed up.
Yeah. Like obviously they had their sleep, right? So they're all ready for the next night. But yeah,
He's like, this cat needs to go. This
yes,
cat
it
needs
worked
to
out
get out of the
really well
house.
for Jerry.
That's a good one. Good episode.
That was a cool episode. There were so many cartoons from Tom and Jerry that I mean, it's hard to like just narrow them down where I
So
live.
many people
Yeah.
can relate to that,
Yeah.
right? You can
Yeah.
relate to going out all night and just getting really tired the next day, not being able to function, drinking a ton of coffee,
Oh my God, it's the
doing it
worst.
again all over again the next
It's
night.
the worst. Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I can't do that anymore. So let's talk a little bit about you got One Love Yoga. You are like now going deeper with the yoga and sort of really becoming a student of the yoga. So tell me about that.
It's a combination of variables that all I know is that what's true for me is that yoga changed my life. And the moment that it clicked for me was about, I would say like a good 5 years ago, where the physicality of the yoga was one thing, right? It was the asanas were one thing. And then all of a sudden it changed my spirit and I felt more balanced. And when life stressors and life became chaotic around me, my inside was not.
Yeah.
And my normal response would be to be a part of that chaos, and be much involved and responsible to creating it as the things that were creating it, right? So I was just adding more fuel to the fire. So when I realized that yoga was keeping me in this very sort of an observant mind of this chaos and observant of my emotions, sort of like an outside, like looking in, I said, wow, there's much, much more to this than just the asanas, just the positions and going through the motions. And because, I've been practicing yoga for a long time now, for like over 20 years. And so,
Wow.
because I love to stretch. And, with my formative years, I danced ballet. And so it was like a way to kind of segue from ballet to something else. And so this was good for me. And then just when I moved out here to Arizona in November, I came with the intention to be enrolled in a yoga teacher, an advanced yoga teacher training somewhere, anywhere. It doesn't matter. I don't know. And I've been approached like throughout the many years, like, hey, are you interested in yoga teacher training? To be really have a solid practice. Teachers would come up to me after class and offer me and invite me to be a part of the yoga teacher training that were coming up. And I just didn't have the confidence. I didn't have the voice. I didn't feel like I was there to voice my journey and teach, like me as a teacher. What? No, I couldn't. And then I truly started like in the last year, really worked with yoga on helping me gain that confidence in myself and to not be afraid of being judged. I think that was the hindrance all those years, was like, why would anyone listen to me?
Yeah,
teach yoga?
that's a tough one, that, I mean, we all struggle with that, right? It's like the believing in ourselves. I know you've created this Instagram page to follow that journey, and I'm so happy that I'm following you there, because seeing you be able to go down this journey, right, and just being engaged, right, with it more, and really putting some integrity and thought behind all of it is such a beautiful thing. And
thank you.
And taking it 100, like it's how we should be with everything, like in our lives, right? And it's a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to do, to just be like, believe in yourself and know that you can do this, and know that you can work through any obstacle or challenges that, we create ourselves, or challenges that exist right in front of us. And And so I congratulate you that
Thank you.
you're like taking it to the next level,
Yes.
here. And so, yeah, it's a beautiful thing. We all
It's a
need
work
that.
in progress.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it always is, it's always a work in progress, but you got there, you've made that initial step to start it, that's the hardest thing, is to just start something. And so
Yes. Yes.
so that's an inspiration right there. And yeah, I want to thank you for doing that.
Thanks, Omar.
And
I appreciate that
yeah.
so much. And coming from you, who I take that very, very to the heart, because you're very creative, and you've exercised your creativity and your expression at an early age. Like, you found your love through this medium, multimedia,
Yeah.
right? Or how would you?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, the podcast is sort of like a thing I never thought I'd ever do, and it's really and it has kind of shifted me out of my comfort zone, because yeah, I have always been creative, but I've always been kind of more behind the scenes. I'm behind the camera. I'm a cinematographer. So what I do is, it's meant to be seen, but I'm not supposed to be seen, right? I'm supposed to be kind of like the magic behind the camera.
I think we found another thing in common, but
Yeah.
go on.
Yeah, so because I'm very much, I guess you would say, an extroverted introvert.
Yeah, I
al-
can relate.
I've always said that, like I can be very social, kind of like what we talked about a little earlier. But at the same time, I yearn to be like, kind of not in the limelight.
Yes.
But I do enjoy sort of making the whole operatic thing, gel, right? I love
Right.
making something work, and I
Yes.
love putting it together. I'm a technical guy. I'm a creative guy. And so I love putting all those elements together. At the same time, I don't like, the camera flipped around on me, right? So
Right.
I'm like, no, you can't be here. This is top secret stuff. So the podcast was like it was a challenge. I mean, it's still a work in progress too. Like, I'm getting to understand, like, how do I communicate better with people,
Yes.
and how do
Yes.
I express myself?
A while ago, like I said, I've been working with yoga to help me with my throat chakra. That's why I wear these blue lace agate
Oh, beautiful.
rings.
Yeah.
Thank you. Supposedly they help with, just coming into your own voice, being authentic, holding space, and learning to communicate your authenticity to the world. And because it's been a journey, and that's something that I've been struggling with most of my life, is sort of quieting and being in the background, and not, like you say, like, not having the limelight shine on me.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's just so weird, right?
Yeah.
Because without even me seeking it, that limelight was always shined on me. And
Yeah.
I always felt awkward,
Right.
always so awkward when the light was on me. Your words of encouragement coming from you means a lot to me, because you use this medium to express yourself through your movie. You were never like, you knew that this was your thing, like,
Yeah.
since we were kids, even like in college. I think that being, whether it was holding a camera or taking a photograph, or now your podcast, things like that, you've always expressed yourself creatively and owned that. Like, it was never like a second thought. It just was you, because that is your craft, that is your medium, that is your platform, that is your outlet of creativity to be. That's Omar.
What I have such strong memories of was you coming in to record your. Remember, we did like this little poem that you had written.
Yes.
And I kind of used that as like a background sound in one of the parts of the films where the character is dreaming about you, and we hear your voice like in whispers, and I have such strong memories of that when you came into the editing room, and we got to record that. That was like a really beautiful moment. Yeah.
That's special.
Yeah. So
I wrote that poem. I like to write, and I think it's just, I think this medium that I'm using Instagram as a way to voice my love and respect for something that saved my life, right? And it's for me to give back. But And what I'm trying to say is I didn't always own it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I always feel like it belonged to me, or I wasn't ready. Like I didn't feel like I was ready until now. So it's been a long journey, and I admire those that it just, it clicks for them, and they're like, they're there, their voice is there, and they're like ready to, announce it to the world, what they're passionate about. But for me, I'm very timid, in a sense. I am a very timid person. And I think if we dig deeper or peel the layers of the real reason why, and it all goes down to fear, fear of being judged, ego, just freaking ego, man. Like ego that cripples you from doing great things because you're just like wrapped up in your mind rather than your heart space and your gut.
Absolutely.
So I try to steer away from that for the last year, and it's helped me, I have to say.
Yeah, I think we have to be just, have it consciously be like a thing that we are ready to take on, right? Is our ego, whatever it is. Like for me, it's always been like, I've always been kind of like too much of a perfectionist or too much of wanting to be in control of things. And so that's kind of my biggest enemy is like, okay, I have to learn to just go with the flow sometimes and just also see that as like art. But yeah, oh man, we're just hitting the tip of the iceberg there on
For sure. I was going to say manifestation. So it's like empowering your voice, and how are you going to communicate to the world? Evolution of character, evolution of spirit. Like if you allow yourself to flow with life rather than control or dictate it and let it be God's will and not your own, you'll be surprised where it leads you to some pretty amazing places, right? If you just like relinquish that control and just say, let go and let God. It's been a motto in our household. I try my very, very best to adhere to that and not let ego get involved, because I'm happier. I notice the times when I really let go and allow myself to be authentic and quiet the mind, and I'm a happier person. I'm more at peace, and things tend to flow. I don't go against the current anymore. I go with the current. And I'm trying to live my life that way more and more. And I think One Love Yoga birthed that, was the birthing place of trying to keep myself accountable